Hi guys, welcome back to the Leeds lobby. We are just driving out from Wakefield to go to Huddersfield for a Green Day concert, so that's fun. But while we're driving out, we thought we'd make a quick video. We did make a video the other day, but the file corrupted and it wouldn't upload, so that's why we've not posted much. But we have got a video here for you guys, and basically we're going to go through the list of the Leeds squad, starting out from the back, from the keeper, and working our way up. And we're going to discuss whether we would keep, loan or sell each player. So hope you enjoy it. The first player is Ayling. Dad, would you keep, loan or sell?
I think as far as Ayling is concerned, I think as many sort of commentators said, we do need to strengthen in that area, because if he becomes injured, we've not got coverage. And goalkeepers are a little bit strange in the sense that there's only one at the club. You don't get goalkeepers that play outfield as well. And as such, you've got a number one, you've got a number two, and that number two will sit on the bench year in, year out in some cases. It doesn't matter if they're at first team football in some cases. But I do think that what we've got coming in, I don't think in terms of Clarkson is strong enough if Meslier is out. So I think we need to strengthen that area. I do see us keeping Meslier, and I do see him being Leeds first team keeper for a generation.
Completely agree. I think he starts the season at number one. Maybe you bring in a Darren Randolph or a John Ruddy or even a Ben Foster, but for now, start the season with Meslier at number one. See how he goes.
I would be concerned if we don't bring somebody in to back him up.
Yeah. Next player, Luke Ayling. Personally, my favourite player. I would keep him, just for the
goal celebrations.
Yeah, just for the goal celebration, for the funnies. The Huddersfield volley, legendary goal. You know, there's a lot of factors where he's sentimental to the club. I think we should keep him. Maybe make him third choice. Maybe keep him on the bench for the experience. But I would keep him. I
do think he probably is somebody that's really great around the dressing room. I do also see that Christensen is definitely an upgrade, both going forward. I mean, who would I be least looking forward to face if I was a left winger? And I have to say, I'll be least looking forward to facing Clarkson coming down that Christensen coming down that right hand side to me. If I had Clarkson coming down to the left hand side, there's something seriously gone wrong with regards to the way that they've shifted the squad around. But yeah, I think that what we signed is an upgrade. We'll get into Drame and where he fits in this situation, but I do expect Luke Ayling to be spending a lot of time on the bench this season. In which case he may actually be looking for a move away. So at this moment in time, I would keep, but I'm not sure how long he's going to stay at Leeds United.
Junior Firpo, Shell.
Yeah. Not a lot needs saying about that.
I think there is an aspect where you could keep him, because there's no point in selling players and then getting in replacements like we did last window, because you don't end up with any more or less players.
Yeah. Maybe
keep him for the depth and you sign like Dagba from PSG or Wagner.
We've said on a previous video that Leeds have definitely come out and expressed that they are not in for a left back. They're not expected to sign a left back, and that suggests to me that we're going to be operating wing backs. And it suggests to me that Harrison is probably going to be the first name on the team sheet in that position. And there is one other thing to take into consideration, and that is that Firpo is a wing back. He's not a left back, and he's being played as a left back behind the winger. That's one of the reasons why he's probably not performed so well. So we might actually see improved performances from Firpo. It will be interesting to see. Leeds aren't going to get rid of him because we've not had him long enough, and ultimately he's not had a long enough run in the side to get himself better. So I think he'll stay at the club, but I think he's going to be a bench player. I hope he's going to be a bench player, unless he really improves his performances.
Yeah. Adam Forshaw.
I don't think he's going to be fit enough for us to sell. For me, if we were starting games with Adam Forshaw next season, I would be saying something has gone radically wrong.
I think he did step up this season quite well, and I think he has. In some aspect, we gave him a new contract in January. He has in some aspect earned the right to not be sold, even not starting games, but earned the right to stay at the club for a bit.
But part of our defensive issues last season were the fact that Adam Forshaw, when recycling the ball, would play the ball back. He doesn't seem to be somebody who can play the ball forward. One of the issues that causes, obviously, is that you get pinned back, and I think we found that if I was going to play, if we were going to play him, he would definitely have to have another defensive midfielder alongside of him playing
Mark
in the pivot.
Rocker, maybe.
I wouldn't want him as our sole
Is the
defensive
Scouser
midfielder.
Perlo? Especially now Phillips is gone, I would definitely keep him.
The Scouser Perlo. Yeah,
Robin
I'm not sure
Koch.
I agree with that. Robin Koch. Keep.
Yeah.
Just straightforward keep, but I'd like to see him
German
featuring more at
international.
centre half.
Yeah, not a CDM.
No, I'd like to see him play more at centre half. I'd like to see him paired up with Strauch, and I'd like to see Cresswell in there as well. For me, we've got some good centre halves. We don't need to. I don't think we need to invest in that area. We just need to have a regular pairing and work out what that regular pairing is really.
Liam Cooper, keep.
What a difference he made in that defence when he came back.
Clean sheets, back-to-back clean sheets when he came back.
I would also say he came back at the same time as Phillips, which had an impact. But it showed how poor we were in the air with all our other central defensive pairings.
Yeah.
Where Liam Cooper came back in terms of how well he did play.
Yeah. Pardon? Patrick Bamford. I would definitely keep him.
Again, I'd keep him, but it depends how much time he's going to spend on the physio's table, because if he gets to the end of this season and he's not had 30 starts, personally I'd be looking at putting him on the transfer list. But we have to strengthen in that area. I don't want to go into the season with Patrick Bamford as our main striker. I'd love to see us bring in a young player who can potentially come through, who's more of a number 9. Joffrey tends to drop deep, more of a Rooney-esque kind of player. Bamford is an out-and-out number 9. I want to see an out-and-out number 9 at the club that is somebody that is going to challenge Bamford for that first team spot, who is going to stay fit, and I want to see a number 9 who is going to come through.
Number 10, Rafinha.
I think at this moment in time it's probably a little bit out of Leeds' hands. One thing I would say with Rafinha is we need to stand firm. We need to stand firm in our valuation.
We can't have Orta getting his belly tickled by Barcelona for the old window. What
I will say is, if Rafinha sulks, then he's potentially going to give up his World Cup. So we can afford to stick to that valuation and not sell him, because remember, we've always got the option of selling him in January, and he'll have had a World Cup. His stock might actually go up, strangely enough, even though his contract is running down. I think it's just a matter of sticking to our valuation. I certainly wouldn't be concerned if we start the season with Rafinha playing at Leeds United. I don't think he's going to play particularly well in the middle. I think he's shown that he's a phenomenal player outright. We've tried him in the left, we've tried him in the middle. His performances aren't quite there for me. So I think if we're going to play a narrow system, we have to sell him and we have to get the money for him now.
Yeah, I would keep him. I would definitely, if it was my choice, I would keep him on the basis that we give him a new contract, because if we keep him, we don't give him a new contract, we're going to be selling him on in a year's time for 30 million, 20 million, maybe even giving him away on a free at the end of his contract. So I would keep him on the basis that he gets a new contract.
I don't think it'll come to that. For me, one thing is a concern is that I don't want it to go right down to the last minute, and then we don't end up getting replacements.
Maybe if we give him a contract with a clause that Barcelona can buy him at the end of in a certain, maybe we give him a 4-year contract, but by the second year, if Barcelona have the money, then they can buy him.
That's an option. It's not straightforward, because the clubs that are coming in for him are not clubs that I don't think he actually necessarily wanted away from Leeds as much as he wanted to move to Barcelona. And if that is the case, then the problem we have is that he could potentially be looking at signing for a club like Arsenal, who will sign him in to a 4-year contract, and a 4-year contract will probably stop him from ever being able to go to Barcelona until the very end of his career. So it's a little bit of a strange one, because he's not actually going to get the move that he wants. So it's strange. He may end up staying at Leeds. He might end up staying at Leeds, but we'll have to see.
Tyler Roberts, who is rumoured to be having a medical at Cardiff City as we speak.
I will drive him there if necessary.
I don't think he's there. I don't think he'll ever be there. Good luck at Cardiff.
I would take a bag of cola bottles for him.
Good luck at Cardiff if it does happen for him. But never.
There's no fans of Tyler Roberts here.
Nowhere near close.
Don't get me wrong, he pulls on a Leeds shirt, and I will the guy to do well. But for me, that's not the question. The question is whether he should be putting a Leeds shirt.
Nowhere near where we need to be. Christopher Claassen. We already spoke about him when we spoke about Melier.
I'd put him out for loan. Apart from the fact that we haven't got a backup keeper, which is the problem. He's still not the polished article.
I would keep him for the under-23s. Keep him. If we sign an older, experienced keeper, keep him in and around that sort of sphere of keepers that we've got. We've obviously got Hoivel, Capri, Melier, Casilla, hopefully not, and this mystery older keeper that we're rumoured to be signing, hopefully. Next player is Diego Llorente. I would keep him, but if he's not performing by January, then we need to move him on. Give him a chance.
Yeah, Llorente was. See, the back end of last season, he was putting some really, really great performances in, and I actually was turning around to Daniel saying I think he's one of the best centre-halves we've had.
I think your words were he's going to be the next Rio Ferdinand.
His distribution was phenomenal.
Comparing him to Rio Ferdinand, though.
And then I think one of the problems is when particularly in defence, when people start making mistakes, and if you've not got a defensive lineup that is consistent, and you're unable to know where where the rest of your team is going to be, and you're not supposed as incisive, you're not so good with the distribution. The keeper's making errors. This nervousness seems to come in. And I think if you miss a chance as a striker, I think there's a pressure. If you make an error and it costs your team a goal, I think that's a different kind of pressure. And I think for me, Llorente showed a nervousness on the ball towards certainly the second half of our season last year, and I'm not sure he's going to cut it long term. We're going to find better players in our squad. Personally, so for me, keep him for now. Let's see where he goes, and if he ends up getting into some rich vein of form, and if he does, let's play him.
Yeah, Stuart Dallas, keep him. Enough said. You don't really need to.
It's not even in question. Great squad player.
Hope he gets better.
Even if he's not in the first team, he's a great squad player. But I do think you'll always be able to use him somewhere.
He's just reliable, isn't he? Plays anywhere except up front and in net. Rodrigo, I would just sell him. If we can make back 15 million for him, then I'll be buzzing.
Yeah, I think the wages that he's on, I think he's flattered to deceive. He's not been the player that we were hoping he was going to be. I don't know whether it's been because he's been played out of position and he's actually a striker, but for a striker, he doesn't seem to be reliable enough in front of goal.
His decision making getting on as well.
His decision making's not been there. Obviously, we know he's linked up really well with Rafinha, and Rafinha may be going. For me, I will be hopeful that we have better options in front of goal by the time we leave this transfer window.
Yeah. Daniel James.
25 million.
Fourth most amount of money Man U has ever received for a player.
Is there something where we can just get Daniel James and just basically train him every single day? Day in, day out, one-on-ones with the keeper. Shooting practice. And just do nothing but that fitness, and shooting practice, and one-on-ones. Is there a way we could do that? Because somewhere within me, there is a feeling that with the pace this guy's got, if he got the muscle memory of being able to shoot and being able to do one-on-ones and conduct them appropriately with his decision-making, we've got Michael Owen in there, but he just doesn't seem to have that killer instinct. But for me, Dan James, I wouldn't want to. If we get again, like with Rodrigo, if we get to the beginning of the season and he's the first name on the team sheet and in his position week in, week out, and it's a fresh squad with no injuries, I'll be disappointed that we've not looked to bring somebody in that's a better quality person. I
agree. He's rapid. He's just a small Traore, really. And if we bring Traore in, personally, I think Traore would, quite controversially, but I think he would be a good player for Leeds. And I think it'd be an upgrade on Dan James.
We need some players who know where the back of the net is. Remember when we had like Lee Bowyer, Rod Wallace, these, we're not on them at the same time, but Rod Wallace and Danny Mills, all we were able to just weigh in with goals from all over. And then we had a striker like Mark Viduka, who just absolutely knew where the back of the net was. Robbie Keane, Alan Smith. We just got a side that was just brimming with talent. I wonder if we didn't win the league with that team. I don't know. But there we go. We need some more players that know where the back of the net is. You can't win games without scoring goals.
Pascal Struijk scored the late equaliser against Brighton. Young player, young talent, but would you keep him, sell him or loan him?
He's a long run in the side away from becoming probably the best centre-half at the club, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Enough said.
I'll probably definitely keep him. 21 years old. I don't know if he's 21 or 22. He's around that age. He's in the sphere of Liam Cooper, the captain, Robin Koch, German international. He's training with
German international. Oh, he's not. He's yeah, okay.
I called up to the Belgium national team, which he rejected because he wants to play for Netherlands. And I just think he's going to be a great centre-half, alongside Charlie Cresswell as well in the future.
That's future bearing for me.
Yeah. Jack Harrison, left winger, had a bad run of form at the start of the season, but he came to form later, and since he didn't score until the first game of 2022, and then he ended up getting 1 goal less than Rafinha.
He's my favourite player at the club, personally.
I agree.
1 goal less than Rafinha, 1 assist less than Rafinha.
Yeah.
He's a player that takes it to the byline and crosses rather than cuts inside like Rafinha. The amount of times he crossed that ball in from the left-hand side and put it on the plate for a number 9 who wasn't there last season. He would have had 10, 15 assists if Bamford had been there. I love him to bits. I'd love to see him being developed and put into a wing-back role. Bearing in mind, Leeds are not in for a left-back, and Leeds are not entertaining any offers from Harrison. That suggests to me that Jesse Marsch is going to turn him into a left wing-back, and I think he will turn into one of the best wing-backs in the league, personally. That's my feelings. Love him to bits. I'd love to see him stay at the club and just kick on now.
This list is a bit outdated because we made this list. I found this list a couple of days ago. Calvin Phillips, who is rumoured now to have agreed terms with Manchester City,
he's gone. Let's just make sure the players we bring in now are going to allow Leeds to kick on and improve.
Club legend, club hero. It was you could argue it was as crucial in our promotion as Pablo Hernandez.
Yeah, I would say that, but I also think he was system based. I think when Jesse Marsch changed the system, I don't think he played as well. I think that means that, from my point of view, looking going forward, his value to Leeds United would probably have dropped, not in terms of his value as a player or his ability, but his value to the club, bearing in mind the system was changing. And I think that we've probably done the right thing if we're going to put our stock in Jesse Marsch with his system, and we're going to back him in the transfer market. We've probably done the right thing selling him now while we get the value we get for him. I hate to say that, he's a Leeds lad, he's an absolute legend, love him to bits, and I hope he does very, very well at Man City. Thank goodness he's not gone to Scum. Don't think that would have been possible.
He's gone to the blue side.
Yeah, but
we need to move on, really.
The other thing is, I'm not entirely sure that Man City's going to get a player that's going to feature more than 20-25 times next season, because there are other options, and there may be other players that are playing well that are playing for their place. And also, there has been a question or two raised over his fitness in terms of injuries. So let's just have a look and see how that goes on. Maybe he ends his career at the club. Don't know, but love him to bits, and all the best.
I can see him being something of a James Milner, where he's going to go to City, and I can see him playing until he's like 35. I can see him just staying at City now, or maybe he goes to City and then he comes back to Leeds. But
there we go.
Another defensive midfielder, Lewis Bate. He started playing some games whilst when Forshaw got injured. But at the under 23s, I'm not going to lie, I'm very biased, because at the under 23s, I shouted him over and he gave me a shirt. So I'm very biased for this, but I would definitely keep him, and I will give him some minutes next season.
Assuming we bring in Tyler Adams, and we've got Mark Rocker. Is it Mark Rocker?
Mark Rocker.
Yeah, we've got Mark Rocker in a holding midfield role, and we're playing two in that holding midfield role as a pivot. Assuming that's the case, then you would expect that Bate would be the natural backup for those two. I mean, bearing in mind Forshaw's probably going to be out for another year. Goodness knows when Forshaw's coming back. So it may well be that we'll opt to keep him around the squad, and that would probably be wise. I wouldn't necessarily put him out on loan at this stage. I would look to try and blood him a little bit and give him some more pitch time this season.
Yeah, definitely keep for me. Young talent, young prodigy. He's up there with Cresswell and Gelhardt. Speaking of Gelhardt, the next one is Charlie Cresswell. No, I'm joking. It's Gelhardt. He's the next Wayne Rooney, in my opinion. It's just been nonsensical to even suggest loaning him or sell him.
Yeah, I'm much the same. He's a fan favourite, and he's a fan favourite for a reason.
Yeah.
There's not a lot needs to be said about Gelhardt. He's come on when he has been on the pitch. There's been some. If you think the amount of minutes he spent on the pitch and the amount of decisive moments that he's been involved with while he's been on the pitch per minute, he's got to be one of our best players last season. He hasn't been on the pitch an awful lot, but some of those games where he's popped up and he's had an assist, or he scored a goal, or won as a penalty, have been really decisive. He's another player. If we'd not had his involvement last year, we might not be in the Premiership. For such a young player making his way into the team, I think we've got to keep him.
Yeah. Hjelde, left back, centre back, plays across the back line, good player, keep him. Really,
really impressed with him when he came on for Leeds. I think we've got to keep him. We've got to have him factoring in there. I'm getting to the situation with some of these young, certainly defensive players, that I prefer now for us to start giving some of these a bit more of a chance in the team, rather than playing some of the older centre-halves. And there have been a few. I think Connor said early on in the transfer window that he was thinking that we would perhaps let one of these centre-halves go on and sell them.
We have moved on Kenner at the start of the window, another centre-half.
Hjelde's a big lad. We definitely need some height in that defence. We need some competent headers of the ball, both in the defence and up front, because we've just been woeful at set pieces at both ends. He's a big lad. I want to see some big lads in that defence.
Yeah. Charlie Cresswell, another big one.
I would love to see him starting maybe 25-30 games this season. I'd love to see him have the opportunity to actually have a run in the team.
Maybe not starting, I would see him playing like 20-25 games though.
If we got to the end of this season and Cresswell was playing alongside Strauch or Cock, and we were seeing Cresswell involved in 25-30 games this season, I think we've got a player on our hands there who's an absolute beast at the back, who could be somebody that we have within that Leeds side, where we've got a Strauch, we've got Hjelde, we've got Cresswell, we've got Christensen, and we've got some decent sized, strong players at the back with good headers of the ball. That's where I see the future of Leeds United in our defence. And I hope Leeds keep on. I really do hope Leeds hold on to him and begin to use him as well.
Yeah, there's videos on the Leeds documentary, and Charlie Cresswell is actually stood in the crowd at the playoff games, crying when Leeds are losing. He's a Leeds fan, he's from Leeds. Enough said, he's a great player and he's a talent.
He's going to be the name that's going to be on the back of your children's shirts going forward. You mark my words, we fast forward, if you've got young kids, his is the name that's going to be on the back of a Leeds shirt. And I think that we're going to look back in years to come, and I'm making a big statement here. You think Jack Charlton is a Leeds United legend? This kid has got opportunity and chance to be that much of a pivotal player at Leeds United. And I've seen him in the under-23s, and I've seen him command that box and command that team in front of him as a captain. And goodness me, this kid never shuts up. It's exactly what you want from a captain.
Yeah. Crescencio Somerville.
Loan.
Yeah.
Go on.
I would personally loan him, but not until he's been given a new contract, because if we loan him and then we don't give him a new contract, then we're going to be having teams sign him on a free. And I think he's a great player. He just needs to be a bit more physical. I think with Forest looking at him, and Forest are really ramping up some interest in him now. It's really starting. It's like a snowball rolling down the hill, and it's gathering momentum. And I would probably say give him a 4-year extension, and then loan him out to Forest so we can see how he fares. He's
somebody that's got a certain amount of worth now. I've seen him again in the under-23s. Didn't make too much of an impact when he came on for the main team. I do think he's still a little bit lightweight with his age. He needs to get into the gym. But I'll tell you something else. I've seen him in the under-23s, and he is out of this world. He's a real talent. Downside for him at Leeds United is that we don't look like going forward we're going to be employing wingers. And that being the case, I'm not sure where he fits. I think if we sell him now, we will regret it, because I think he'll be worth 30, 40, 50 million pound in 2 or 3 years' time. So for me, what I would like to see, as Leeds, like to see Leeds put him on loan, but like Dan says, sign him up to a bit of a contract, because I think he's more of an investment player for us. Even though I like him, really like him.
Stuart McKinstry. I think he's. I like how you look at me, because
I don't know.
Yeah, he's a CDM. We went to the Palace under-23s and he scored a goal. He made his debut against Arsenal, if I'm not mistaken, when we got beat 4-1. Lewis Bate is there. He's not going to get much minutes. Maybe loan him, maybe sell him for 1 million, 2 million. It's debatable. Sam Greenwood, yeah. Again, somebody for the future. To put him alongside Aronson and let him play an attacking midfield role in that two up front. He came on for Leeds, and again, if you talk about Gelhardt having influential minutes, this guy also had two really cracking assists and goal involvements, where he just played an absolute. What was that? Who did he play to? He played the ball forward. Yeah, Rodrigo.
An absolutely beautiful ball.
Yeah.
Weighted perfectly, and I really like his work ethic. I really like the way he plays, the way he moves, his technical ability, and I do think he is a future player for Leeds United. I'd love to see us have a player at the club that can step up from outside the 18-yard box, arrive late like a Frank Lampard and stick the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
And I think that he does that in the under-23s, and I'd love to see him step up and begin to do that like Click used to do. I'd sooner see him on the team sheet than Click, because not that I don't like Click, I just think that Greenwood is somebody who will develop into a much better player.
Yeah. So next one is actually Click. So
Sell.
Yeah.
Love it. I again, like him. Like what he did for us in the Championship.
Yeah.
What do you think?
He's a good player, and there is a player there, but he's old, and he's not going to be. If he is still starting games at attacking midfield or central midfield or defensive midfield for Leeds United, I don't care how many injuries we've got. If he's starting games next season in the big league, then we've clearly done something wrong. Or we've done something really right and turned him into a baller. But I can't see it, honestly. I think he should go to the Bundesliga, get a big break, and then retire.
Yep.
I think that's fair to say. Liam McCarron, left back, left winger by trade, but the absence of Leif Davis has forced him into left back, and I would probably loan him out and possibly bring back Leif Davis, or sign a younger left back for the under-23s. Jamie Shackleton,
I think he needs to be plying his trade at a Championship club. Like him, Leeds fan, Leeds lad, but he's just not quite got to the point now where I think he's kicking on. Should be quite as developed where as he perhaps is. Should be a little bit further on than he is, and as such, I just think we should be looking at selling him to a club where he's going to get lots of first team football, like the kid.
Yeah, I think Bielsa turned him from a central midfielder into a right back, and I think he had a good run of games, and now I think Drame should be in front of him, Christian should be in front of him, debatably Ayling should be in front of him. I would sell. Jack Jenkins, not too fussed. Chris Moore, not too fussed. Noah Kenner, gone. Archie Gray,
Again, somebody who's going to be a future Leeds United. He's obviously a Leeds fan. He scored some phenomenal goals in the under-23s.
Eddie Gray's nephew.
He's a great talent, and I think we just need to be holding on to our players when they are elite, particularly when the youth players that have undoubtedly got that talent. And these are the future of the club. Thanks ever so much for watching the video. If you've made it this far, that's great, because you made it through quite a lot of players that probably in some cases people haven't heard of. Please like the video, subscribe, hit the like button, and if you've got any comments or you disagree in any way, please write them down below and we'll respond to that.
See ya.